Hey, you know the sound. It's Tuesday, it's noon, and I'm John Anzalone, and I'm here with my buddy.
Chris Trottier. And look who we have here, Rich Shouse, who's the division chair at Gateway Technical College for manufacturing, engineering, and IT. Whew, that's a big title, a lot of responsibility. Welcome, Rich.
Hey, how you guys doing today? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks.
So, Rich, you got a big title, a lot of responsibility. I see all over every manufacturing. It is October. It is manufacturing month. So tell us a little bit how you got involved, how you ended up teaching at Gateway and becoming the division chair of those three departments.
Thanks, Chris. Well, my career path is a long and winding road, and I never thought if you would have told 18-year-old me that someday I'd be working out of college, I think I would have thought it was a weird joke to say. But I went to high school locally. I went to high school, Wilmot High School, and not going to age myself, but I graduated in 1995. But my junior year, so my 11th grade year, we had a job fair, and we were able to sign up for it was kind of an apprentice model. So a local machine shop was looking for apprentice machinists, and I thought, you know what? After I've talked to a bunch of people at a bunch of different tables. I'm like, this sounds like something I'd like to try. And I was hired on as a part-time apprentice at Coleman Tool. I think it was 1994. I worked there part-time when I could through my junior and senior year, and then got a job full-time machining in the tool room. So anybody that knows what tool room machining is, it's prototype machining and fixture building, kind of custom one-off stuffs for Coleman Tool. And their claim to fame is they manufacture, or they did, garbage truck parts and also contract style machining. So
was Michael Coleman in charge at that time?
Yeah, he was my direct supervisor. Absolutely.
Look at that, Michael Coleman Tool. His kids went to Wilmot also.
I did not know that. That's awesome. Yep.
We're not going into the history of Wilmot here, are we, guys?
Right. Let's go. So I worked there for a few years until my early 20s. Decided it was a little bit time for a change. At the time I was in Twin Lakes and driving a little far to Kenosha. So I got a job in Burlington at a company called Rivco Products. I ended up staying there for 15, 16 years. And I kind of worked my way up from tool room machinist to CNC machinist to CNC programmer to I was a new product engineer for a little while. And then eventually the last 5 or 6 years that I worked there, I was the shop foreman. So I ran the whole company, everything behind the glass doors, we used to call it. So anything that wasn't a sales or an office job, I was in charge of that. Like I said, I worked there for 15 years. It was a really great small company to work for. I lived in Burlington, so it was really close. I did that. A good friend of mine who I worked with, he got a job at Gateway, and he came in one day and he was telling me about it, and I thought to myself, man, it always kind of stuck in the back of my head. I'm like, you're a teacher? That's amazing. How he got hired, and he was sort of like my mentor, Rich Bunikemper, the other Rich, we say. So I decided to move on from Rivco. Just so I did everything I could do, from management all the way down to making parts. I got a job at BRP Evinrude, and I have to say that was probably one of the greatest jobs that I've ever had. Air conditioned, high paying job, modern equipment, a really positive work culture, which was important to me at the time. Living life, loving it. And then finally somebody from Gateway called. I had applied when I still worked at Rivco, and they said, hey, we'd love to have you, but we need you in 2 weeks. Oh man, I finally found the job that I really, really love. It was a tough decision at the time. And I was hired at Gateway based on my work experience, right? At this time I had 22 years roughly of manufacturing experience, and they hired me to be an instructor. And that was 9 years ago. I started teaching at the Racine campus way down by the lake. And in 2015, partnering with Precision Plus and all of our industry partners, we were able to build the RPM Center, the Reader Precision Manufacturing Center. And since this is my home turf, I was picked to teach here. And that's why
Rich, your story is amazing. Like it's one of those stories, and I guess it shows us, and it shows kids, old, young, whatever, that all our paths are different to get where we end up, and that there is no one way to do it.
Absolutely. And, for me, as an 18-year-old man, I wouldn't have been successful at a 4-year university. I was distracted by, life in general. And I went back to college. So Gateway's paying for my degree in career and technical education. I went back to school, I think 2016, and I'm almost done. I have 117 credits of my 121 credit degree completed. So
we all get to where we're going a different way, and there's beauty to that. Yeah,
right.
That's a great thing. Congrats to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where I'm at. So now I'm here teaching, and I'm also in charge of the electromechanical maintenance program. I chair over that program, and I also chair over the advanced manufacturing program too.
So, Rich, who was more instrumental? Who guided you into going into manufacturing? John Franz or George Trupitz?
Right. So I wasn't a big woodworker. There's a little bit of art involved in woodworking. I'm not sure Mr. Trupitz really liked me that much. But John Franz was my guy. I have his autograph in my yearbook, and
there you go.
But my whole family was they're a family of metal workers. So I knew that this is something that I wanted to do.
Well, why would you encourage students? You look at your history and you look at where you're at now, and why give some advice to kids on. I mean, you were at Precision Plus's Manufacturing Day last Wednesday and their Youth Apprenticeship Signing Day. Why should kids consider manufacturing as a field? What's the benefits, and why would you encourage them to pursue that career choice?
Well, what really interests me, how it related to my hobby. So at the time I was into riding dirt bikes and motorcycles and monster trucks and hot rods. And I love the ability to make my own parts and think like really mechanically minded. And that was one part that really, really interests me, was not just buying a store-bought product to put on something that I built, but to put my own style and have the tools and the ability to manufacture that. So that was one thing. That was probably the best part, I thought, as a young person. Second was the money. So I'm a very monetarily motivated person, and I saw the wages that they were paying for a skilled machinist, and it blew me away. So I bought my first house, I think, when I was 20, and a lot of my friends were still going to school. They're in their 4-year university. They weren't near buying a house yet. So having my own workspace and my own house, that was really important to me as well. So once you're in the trade, a good friend of me explained it to me like this. I didn't really call myself a machinist till 7 years into the trade. I've never been fired. I've never been laid off. A company's always going to keep your skilled people for as long as they can until they can shut the doors, because it's not like you can just grab somebody on the street and train them in a week or two to do what you can do. So you're an asset to the company that you belong to. Now, Chris, if you're making pizzas, how long is it going to somebody get trained to make a pizza, right? It's going to be minutes. You're going to go in, you're going to ask for a raise. They're just going to fire you and hire another pizza maker, right?
Well, I think you make a good point that sometimes when you say manufacturing, people don't always understand how skilled manufacturing is and has become, and how technical, and the skills you got to have to be able to do it, right?
Absolutely. Yep. And, for me, another part of it is just the working conditions. My friends that are also in the trades that are carpenters and concrete workers and roofers, I don't have to deal with any kind of weather. My shop, most of the shops that I work in were super clean. They were air conditioned. If I got dirty, it was by choice, right? So, meanwhile, my friends that are electricians are, going through attics with insulation and breathing all that nasty stuff and freezing their butts off, or it's 1,000,000 degrees in the summertime. I don't have any of that.
So, Rich, let's dig into a second, because I think this is important. And, when you have conversations with kids, as you do, as John does, we talk about the benefit of, and you did a great job of articulating why, the difference between skilled and maybe unskilled employment opportunities. What are some skills that kids, as you see them come through Gateway, what are some skills that kids need to be successful in the manufacturing field?
I think just a general curiosity, how do things work? Maybe an independent thinker, a mechanical mindness, an interest in all things mechanical or electrical or whatever it is, but a genuine curiosity. But the cool thing about manufacturing, Chris, is that there's jobs for everybody. If you want to be a person who just runs a broom, you can do that. You could work in the office. You can be an HR person. If you want to be a machinist, you can just be a machinist. If you're going to gravitate towards management, there's a job for you there too. So there's lots of different spots in manufacturing.
If you want to be a teacher someday, you can do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Right? I mean, yeah, that's amazing.
I mean, we have David Redford as a YA youth apprentice over at Precision in marketing.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah. So he's tied to manufacturing as well.
Yeah. So we know the history, the strong presence, and Gateway is a great partner for all schools, especially the Elkhorn School District. What are, share a little bit about how Gateway is preparing the next generation of manufacturing employees, skilled machinists. Talk a little bit about the program that Gateway offers and how it's really setting kids apart from other maybe technical colleges.
Sure. So our program is really career focused. So we don't have a bunch of courses in there that are fluff for your degree. I'm not going to make you take courses that aren't going to have anything to do with the work that you're going to be doing. So one unique advantage that I think that we have is our instructors, right? So what's cool about that is that our instructors are all industry proven. So we've worked in industry. This isn't something that we did as a summer job, 10 years ago. We were able to provide for our families and have for a long time. So I think that all the Gateway instructors, specifically in the machining department, have a unique advantage that we know how to be successful in a manufacturing environment, and we run our classes just like that. So besides instruction, I think the second big part is going to be our labs, our machine shops themselves. They're a really awesome place to work. They're beautiful. We have some really high-end equipment. If I had to guess, in Elkhorn at the RPM Center, we probably have $1 million plus in equipment. So it's not easy bake ovens or play school CNCs. They're like real deal machines that you're going to see in industry.
So I have one question. I have a question for you before we start wrapping up here, because time is going fast. Mm-hmm. Without naming names, I'm a new student coming into your class. What qualities do your favorite students possess?
Good question.
I like students who interact and ask a lot of questions. I love students who are passionate about something else. Like they have a really cool hobby, whether that's video games or it's dirt bikes or it's go-karts. And I like how they can take their passion and use what they've learned in my classes to accentuate their passion. I think that's awesome.
Nice.
I like when they show up too. That's pretty good.
It's good quality.
I just left Wisconsin Oven, and we got a tour of their plant over in East Troy. And one of their general managers said, when we asked a similar question that John did, his first response was, show up every day.
Right. We like that.
Right. Yeah, it's an employability skill, so which was a given. So yeah. And if anybody has, I think the one plug I would give too, Rich, and you said it. It's one of the first things you said, and I think that for those families or students who are hesitant to step onto a college campus and think it's different, all of the entire Gateway family does an awesome job of making sure that kids are learning, making sure that kids are taken care of, give every kid the opportunity to be successful. And I think you said it best, really keep an eye on the prize. Like, this is about preparing kids for their future careers. So I just wanted to say thank you to you and all the Gateway employee teachers and who do such a great job of giving our kids such an awesome opportunities. So thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Thank you.
And that's a perfect segue, John. I mean,
it's a perfect segue.
Pretty quick, doesn't it?
It does. It goes fast.
We like to close out with some thank yous. So, Rich, who do you want to give a thank you to or shout out?
Oh man, well, you know what? Our shop teacher is a good one, John Franz. He's a good one to give a shout out to, right? He's the one the first time I ever ran a machine was in his class in my high school shop class. But all of my mentors, Rich Colano, Ed Mankey, Kevin Mortensen, those are some folks that used to help me. Mike Coleman, Phil Petrie, all those were machinists that mentored me through my program. Our old dean, Ray Kukari, our current dean, Chris Perez. I got lots of them. I can go on forever, Chris.
That's right. Good people.
Yeah,
John, what about you?
Well, I was going to let Rich know. Good thing he ended that, because like the Academy Awards, the buzzer was going to go off. Your time was up to thank people. You know what? I'm going to thank some people that I have yet to thank on the Noon Whistle, and that's all of our listeners. Thanks to those that listen live, that view it later, that comment. Thank you guys. And certainly we always love more. So invite more people to take a look at what we're doing.
I have two today. I'm gonna thank Wisconsin Oven for their amazing tour today. Great employer in East Troy. But I'm also gonna thank Mike Reeder at Precision Plus. For those of you who were in attendance on Wednesday, they gave an acknowledgement and a scholarship to Mrs. Joanne Pella, and a $1,000 scholarship for Elkhorn students who are interested in pursuing a career in manufacturing and engineering. It was a great recognition, and it was a great event. So before we go, any parting thoughts from the team here?
Thank you, Rich.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for having me on. Amazing experience.
Yeah, thank you for everything you do. And on that note, it's time to go back to work. So let's hit the horn.